View from the Gutters presents Back Matter, Episode 2. Welcome to our semi-weekly discussion show. On this episode, we discuss Star Wars, Incredibles 2, Dark Horse and Kickstarter, the Peanuts 3D movie, Batman Arkham Knight, and Netflix Iron Fist. What do you want to start with?
Good, cool.
First?
Chib Chabachu. Let's just open with some banter.
We are bantering. This is the opening.
We're banter. Oh, we're opening.
Oh, I guess. I don't know.
This is.
Did you want to do?
This is Back Matter.
Back Matter episode 2.
Issue number 2.
Yeah.
With the
letter column.
This is the yeah.
I do actually want to do some listener emails on here eventually. So
okay, yeah, I would like to do that.
People should send us more emails. We
Yeah.
did get some fan art this week, which was really sick.
We got some pretty bitchin' fan art.
I'm going to post that probably when I post this episode.
On the Facebook page and on the
tomorrow,
website.
Yeah. He said it was cool if we posted it, so I'll just credit him on
Yeah.
that. A gentleman that listens to us while he works out drew us a self-portrait of him listening to us while he works out.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Also,
it's more fan art of himself, I realize now, than of us. But
well,
it does say View from the Gutters
View
on
from
it.
the Gutters inspired fan art.
Yeah.
Well, so I think
fine.
that's okay. We also got Richard and Wendy Penny posted a link to our 5th episode of The Long Run in which we discussed their work ElfQuest, and so that was really nice of them.
Should have opened that before we start recording.
No, I think it'll be good.
Glug glug glug
of
the Coke.
He's engaging in his habit over there.
My Coke habit. Yeah, that was super nice of them.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and it's
thank you
definitely
very much.
Yeah, it's definitely given us a bump.
Yeah, that's one of our most listened to episodes so far. So
it is.
Great.
No, it is. It's blowing.
Oh, is it?
It's by 10 listens, I think.
Oh, wow. So it's a classic of comics, and so I'm glad that people wanted to hear what we thought about it.
Yeah.
Because our opinion matters so much.
Well, we're good like that.
Are we?
I think that if you tell people, oh, I do this, they're like, oh, wait, you're actually recording what you're saying. That means that you must know what you're talking about, which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, I read it on the interwebs.
Anyone can do this.
It's true.
Like, we just got some microphones and started talking, and that was good enough.
It really was.
And
but
no one's going to stop us.
We don't want you to take that as you should start your own comic book competition.
Oh, yeah, you definitely should.
Because we don't... Well, Chard's insane. I don't want the competition.
I want all of the competition.
You want all the...
Bring it on. Well, it'll make us look better by comparison.
That's true. Actually, that's true.
Wow, that was egotistical.
Damn.
One of the worst.
Well, when you're as good as us,
Yeah, right? Crackpot journalism. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about some news stories from this week, which probably aren't really news anymore.
No,
but
probably not.
We're not breaking the news to you. These are our reactions.
It's true.
To the news story. Because in case you give a shit about what we think.
Yeah.
Which you may or may not want to do.
I mean, really what it is me and Chard are so goddamn in love with the sound of our own voices.
This is true.
That doing one show a week just wasn't cutting it.
I added a second show.
We did.
And now a third show.
Third show.
This is the third 3 shows a week for me.
Yeah,
yeah, because I don't have enough to do. Yeah, so I guess we'll just jump into our reactions to some news stories. The first one that I wrote down is probably, I don't know, maybe a little closer to my heart than to Joseph's, but some Star Wars announcements.
Oh, yeah.
They announced one thing for sure this week, and then we saw some stuff this week that I'm not sure came out this week, but led me to believe that the new Star Wars movies have some promise. The first of which being that they have set a definite time period in which the movies are happening, which is 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
So that's basically how long it's been since Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So the actors have aged in that real time. So that's probably led them to choose
30
that.
years. In Harrison Ford's case, though, it's been closer to 70 years.
What? No.
He's aged 2 years for every year.
He's aged 1 year. He looks exactly the same as Return of the Jedi.
He totally does. I mean, it's really uncanny.
He does not. They've all aged a lot. I mean,
they really have. I mean, Carrie Fisher was like deep in her drugging phase at that point. So,
I mean, people age, people get older.
They do.
But the nice thing about that's been revealed about the movie is that they are supporting cast. That they are not going to be the main focus of the film, which is cool because it takes a lot of the pressure off of them, like having to feel the weight of Star Wars again. Because I'm sure that it is not something that they were really excited about doing in their career again. Probably they've all kind of stepped away from Star Wars in a lot of ways. It pigeonholed
Mark Hamill until he became the Joker. I'm surprised they got him back to do it because
he definitely made his way in terms of voice acting well before the Joker. But I mean, he is a prolific voice actor, and a lot of it I think is because it's harder to recognize him as Mark Hamill when he does his voice acting, which is cool. They've all gone on to do really interesting stuff, so it's good to see them back, but I'm glad that the film isn't like the major focus is on them.
I want them to be like a cameo. They're just like walking in the background, and that's
well, my hope is, because we know that it's set 30 years after Return of the Jedi, and based on the comics and novels, we know a lot of the events after Return of the Jedi, and hopefully, it's my hope that the film kind of honors some of that tradition, the rich comic book and novel tradition of Star Wars, and that characters we may see in this film are the kids of Han and Leia, Jason and Jaina Solo, who go on to become Jedis and train with Luke Skywalker, which is a great way to get a cameo of all of those three characters in there without having them lead the story of the plot.
I was under the impression that Lucas, right around the time of the prequels, had basically come out and said, there is no extended universe. Like, none of that is canon. At all. I distinctly remember that because a lot of Star Wars fans, like, this was back when I was still... Star Wars has kind of been killed for me by the fact that he refuses to release an undoctored original trilogy, and the fact that the prequels were just awful, and I just kind of... That part of my heart has been killed and stabbed and killed.
I remember reading the novels as a kid, so like those hold as deep a place in my heart as the films in a lot of ways. I don't know that he was like, everything is gone, but I know that some of the extended universe that was pre A New Hope did get wiped away by the new movies.
Totally.
And my hope is that they don't follow the books exactly, because I've already read the books. That would be a lot less interesting. But it would be nice to see that they are honoring a little bit of that Star Wars tradition. Because as far as comic books go, the Star Wars Legacy series, which has been fantastic since it started, is a great, it's a great part of the Star Wars tradition. The invasion that happens before Legacy is not the Yuzan Vong invasion, is the worst part of the novels in my mind. So this hopefully is like before that, and maybe they'll erase that part of the terrible part of the...
Hopefully they do something good.
The Legacy takes place like hundreds of years later. So like they're not going to touch that just because... unless they do something that makes that future impossible. By like, killing Luke and he never has kids or something. Which would be weird because that character he's like a revered Star Wars character. So I'm hoping that they're able to like tread the line between new stuff and some old stuff. Also, we saw some production stills from the production company that makes... that's doing all the prop work and stuff for the new movies, and it showed that they're doing practical effects. They're using more practical effects on this. So there were some sets being built and some Millennium Falcon tease stuff. So that company also signed on, I think, for like 7 pictures. So.
Right. I mean, Lucas is a good idea, man, but really you need to keep him away from the camera and the script. And everything else, because really... George Lucas is really good at going, what if this? And then you have somebody that actually has the talent to make that a vision go, well, we're not going to do all this shit, George, but this is a really solid idea.
Yeah, it's actually something that I learned from reading the making of Empire Strikes Back.
Which was Irving
Kershner directed that. But the book is written by Rinsler. I have the book over here. Hang on a sec.
Filling up the dead air, filling up the dead
That's
air.
a giant tome.
It is, wow. That is a tome.
J.W. Rinsler wrote the book, The Making of Empire Strikes Back. It has like a lot of the production notes and tons of photographs from the set, all of the Ralph McQuarrie, and I think
recently
Jason
passed away,
something.
right? James McQuarrie just recently passed away.
I know that Kirshner did. I'm not sure if Ralph
Kirshner
McQuarrie
was a while away.
But that's the one thing I've learned from reading that book is that like something that Lucas would do is just like throw like a million ideas at his team, and it was up to them to kind of like sift through it and come up with what would work. And a lot of the ideas that didn't make the cut in Empire Strikes Back, you see them again end up in episodes 1, 2, and 3. So that's which is kind of unfortunate. But like, you know, Vader was supposed to have a castle on a planet made of lava. Like that didn't happen in Empire, but it kind of happened in episode 3. So like, you know, the scriptwriter whose name escapes me right now, but she did a really great job of like getting Lucas's ideas into a working script, into a script that like worked out well. So I've always loved Lucas for his ideas, but it's exactly that. Like he only directed the first film. Yeah. And you know, the next two were the ones that really did a lot more to capture my imagination because they showed more of the universe and like more stuff became developed. So
it's weird. I've been the other day I just had this great, like lately in general, I've been wanting to rewatch the Matrix movies, which I love, and you cannot like them, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite thing. I think the Matrix movies really took the place in my heart that Star Wars used to have, because I love all three of them.
The Matrix movies? Yeah. Me too, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all, I mean, but the weird thing is that unlike Star Wars, where the first one is definitely the weakest, and they get stronger, the first Matrix movie is definitely the strongest, and I think they get weaker from there. I mean, the third one has a few problems. I still really like
glaring. It as like a complete arc, though.
Absolutely.
And the same with I can't watch A New Hope anymore just because like I've seen it a million times and it's not that interesting. And I don't really like Return of the Jedi that much.
I love Jedi,
just
man.
like
Jedi's
Empire.
Jedi's my joint.
But as an arc, I like it. Well, Jedi just...
I can remember... This is fucked up. This is crazy. I can remember going to the theater when Jedi came out to see it.
I'm not that old.
Like, I actually went to see...
When did it come out?
80.
Yeah, I was not born.
No, it was 80.
It was like 84, right?
Yeah, it was... It
was like 84 something. Because 30 years later would be now.
I think you're right.
Because this book, the Empire Strikes Back book, came out on the 30-year anniversary of Empire.
Right.
And then I think the 80. Return of the Jedi will come out on the 30-year anniversary of the Return of the Jedi one. Because the first, you can also get Making of A New Hope, but I don't like that movie as much, so I didn't get that one. I just got this one. Because this one's my favorite. This is my favorite Star Wars movie, is Making of Empire, is Empire Strikes Back. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think that Return of the Jedi suffers from the fact that at no point do you ever feel like anyone is at risk of dying. Just in the way that it's framed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a valid critique,
like,
I guess.
It just feels like I know that they're going to win.
Right.
And that's, like, that doesn't ruin the film for me at all.
I think it was...
Empire set it up so that it looked like the situation looked so hopeless.
Right,
and then right away in Return of the Jedi, Luke comes back and is like, nope, I'm fucking awesome. I'm going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
I'm doing backflips and I got a laser sword now. And it's like, oh, so much has changed since the last film that we didn't see.
So it was 83 is when it came out.
Okay, so we're close.
But still, yeah. I fucking
was still
went
not
to
alive.
See that. I had a program for it, and it had like the Rancor and shit, and it was all like, So
there's some really cool scenes in 3. The space battle at the end of 3 is like some of the best visual effects. It blew my mind as a kid.
Unfortunately, prequels are...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about 6.
Oh, 6. No,
3.
6 has got
in
some
my
great...
head,
Oh, absolutely.
3
Dude,
means
you
6.
know Lando, like,
Yeah.
Lando blowing up the Death Star at the
Lando
end. And then,
Wedge.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So good. So much goodness.
No, the end of 6, where the fight at the Death Star 2, like, it blew my mind as a kid. Like, I could do without a lot of that movie, but that part specifically is like...
I think there's something, there's, my heart will always thrill to the thought of, like, Leia up there on the gunner, using the huge gun on the main deck of Jabba's barge.
That was cool.
I mean, there's some good stuff, like the whole ridiculous plan to get Han, and there's also a lot of...
There's just a lot of filler, it feels
there
like, in that movie.
There is some filler. There is some filler.
2 just did a great job of, like, they were on the run the whole movie, like, everything felt like... You had this great 2-pace narrative where you had, like, Han and Leia and Chewbacca's story being like, they gotta run, they gotta fix the Millennium Falcon, everything's going wrong. And then you have Luke, like, learning to use his powers and whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, it just felt really cool because you could feel the stress that Luke was under when he could see that his friends were in danger. He's like, I'm not doing enough. And it worked really well. But we've probably talked about Star Wars enough.
Yeah.
However,
that's the eternal debate, which is better, Empire or Jedi.
That's fine. It's obviously Episode 1, Phantom Menace, is the best.
I'm sorry. I think Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is clearly the superior film. I'm going to vomit now that I said that. Hold on.
It doesn't have enough Jar Jar for me.
Oh, God.
So speaking of things that we love, big announcement this week. For me, this is a huge announcement. Greatest thing I've ever seen in print. Cars 3! No, so they announced Incredibles 2. It was like the internet was trolling me this week. They announced Incredibles 2, and I was like so fucking excited because I love that movie. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies, and Brad Bird's attached to it, and he wrote and directed the first one, and he totally understands why that movie works. So I'm so excited.
Well, and
every time I would click on The Incredibles 2, the first thing that would pop up is like pictures of cars, and it was like Cars 3, and I was like, this cannot be a joke. Like, please don't let Incredibles 2 be a joke.
No, I've been seeing it places too, and I think Incredibles is maybe the only Pixar movie that, and I mean, like, Toy Story 2 is okay.
Toy Story 3 was great, though.
I didn't see Toy Story 3 because I just didn't.
It's fantastic.
Like, I watched Monsters U the other day, and it wasn't bad, but I'm just like, why is this even a thing?
See, that's what I said about Toy Story 2. Toy Story 3 doesn't feel like that to me. Like, Toy Story 3, like, has its own story.
Right.
And Toy Story 2 was decent in its own right.
Just...
Like, it was cool to see more of the characters you liked, but... I definitely did not enjoy Toy Story 3 nearly as much as I enjoyed... Or Toy Story 2 nearly as much as I enjoyed.
3.
3 was great.
But The Incredibles was incredible.
It's one of my favorite Pixar movies. Like, absolutely.
I think it's one of the... I'm definitely interested to see what they do with sequel because there's room there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that universe is pretty large. And they did a great job. It's also, I think, one of the most important superhero films ever made.
Oh, I think it's one of the few superhero, pre-Marvel Cinematic Universe that got. I think it's. I mean, because I think the thing that the Marvel Cinematic Universe does really well is acknowledge the comic booky nature of the characters, and I think The Incredibles didn't shy away from that and managed to tell this really great story with these really great, compelling characters,
heroic characters,
and like truly heroic characters. Without being pandering or like overly cheesy. And I mean, it's a great movie. There's like so much there to kind of get into.
And that family is like such a strong dynamic. Yeah. And who knows if that's even going to be the main focus of the film.
I really would like to see Dash and Violet and Jack and what's going on with them. Cause that's one thing we both love about old DCU is legacies,
right?
And so this is a great...
And also, in the world that we met in Incredibles 1, being a superhero was illegal.
Yeah.
And at the end of Incredibles, you saw that people were embracing heroes again.
Yeah, the superhero again.
And so what is the world going to be like now that there can be superheroes again? Like, that's exciting. Like, it would be cool to see a Dash and Jack and Violet, like, years later.
Yeah.
Like, in a world that has fully accepted the superhero.
Exactly.
Like, what does it mean to keep being a hero when there are so many heroes? Like,
yeah.
that kind of stuff I think is really cool. There's so much room there to explore.
Well, and it opens it up to have, like, you know, them becoming their own, coming into their own as heroes,
right?
While their parents are telling them about when the heroes went away for the first time,
right?
That totally opens up that as an avenue of storytelling.
Trying not to be overshadowed by their parents,
yeah,
too.
exactly.
You know, like try not to live in their parents' shadow, and like there's just so much there. That universe was so richly built,
absolutely.
And Brad Bird totally understands why that movie worked.
Brad Bird gets it.
He's a genius.
Because he did
Ratatouille, which is my favorite.
But he also did Mission
Pixar
Impossible
movie.
Ghost Protocol, didn't he?
He did direct that as well.
There are plenty of people out there that like 3. I think 2 is pretty universally not reviled, but I think 2 is very much like, huh?
I've never seen 2 because everyone told me not to. And I was like, I guess I'll
John
skip it.
Woo.
Yeah.
And it's very of the 90s. It's a very 90s creature, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
I still like 3. I thought 3 had a really interesting plot, and I thought Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace, was fantastic in that film.
There are parts I like about it, and there are parts I don't. And we debate about this all the time, but Ghost Protocol, fucking, to me, nailed it.
Well, it's all about that Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jeremy Renner, but also just... It felt like a Mission Impossible movie. Well, also, it didn't feel like it was overly dramatic. It felt very natural and kind of like...
And the action, the scope of it felt large.
Yes,
and that's something that, like, Brad Bird really understands, I think. And that's what I'm hoping for. The technology has come so far since Incredibles 1 that, like, I cannot wait to see this world on a larger scale, like, more dramatic.
Yeah.
Because CGI technology continues to impress me, like... Not only is it coming into its own as far as like the technology is really to the point where they can do anything, but also people are just clamoring for new artistic styles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like with the Lego Movie being so distinctly different from what Pixar looks like, and DreamWorks doing stuff that's so distinctly different from what Pixar does. Like, there's room for many different animation studios. I think
it's the movie equivalent of comic books, because there's room in there for art style and for coloring and for shading. And
definitely.
For telling a story in this... a linear story in this very kind of like interesting way. And
and it's something that I was thinking about earlier is like, I'm such a practical effects guy. Like, I love practical effects till the end of time, because it's just like a beautiful art form in and of itself. But you realize that like every particle of 3D animation, somebody had to do that. Like, some artist had to work on that. And that's where guys that do graphic design and 3D animation like really get to show their stuff.
Absolutely.
Is in movies that are like super effects heavy, like Pacific Rim, where it's like stuff they're excited about, or in like in the 3D animation realm, because it allows them to be very artistic.
Yeah.
It's like come into its own as such an art form.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm glad, because it isn't just like, oh, we'll just make like photorealistic CGI. Right. Oh, and Tintin too is like another great example of like a movie that has such different style from what's coming out.
Yeah.
That I'm really excited to see what The Incredibles is going to look like, but also what other CGI films are coming out, which is a nice transition into another thing that we got this week, which was the Peanuts 3D.
Peanuts 3D trailer
teaser.
This is so I grew up on, I think Peanuts is a staple. Charlie Brown is a staple, but Charlie Brown was a big part of my holidays.
Oh yeah.
My dad's
The Great Pumpkin.
Yeah, the Charlie Brown Christmas special, which we would watch every year without fail while I was growing up. My dad's a jazz pianist, so I grew up listening to the Vince Guaraldi Trio and all that great music. So it's a 30-second trailer, and it just shows Charlie Brown and Snoopy. So they're playing their cards close to the vest.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't. The worst thing you could do to this movie is overthink it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think it's important to have a Charlie Brown movie because I think Charlie Brown is an important character, especially if you're looking at it like from whether you're looking at it from like a cartooning viewpoint or you're looking at it from a pop culture viewpoint.
Right.
Also, I relate to him a lot because
it's like it's like the Muppets, like
yeah,
it's
exactly.
always kind of gonna be a part of our cultural consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. And like I am super. When I found out they were doing the Muppets again, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna fuck up my Muppets, and it's gonna be awful. But Jason Segel, and I don't know if I'm saying his last name right.
I think that's right.
I mean, they fucking nailed that movie. Like the Muppets movie was great.
I still haven't seen it yet.
The Muppets,
the Muppet Escape or whatever.
Muppet Most
one?
Wanted or whatever.
One, yeah.
It also looks like it's gonna be great, and they really, it warms my heart that people worked on that grew up watching it.
Yeah,
that people like my age.
Yeah,
and so.
Well, and they understood what made it cool
Absolutely.
to them. Like, something that we see in comic books a lot is, like, people that grew up with it that come in and they're like, oh, and now I can tell my story about that character. It's like, well, it's not about you.
No, it's not.
It's about those
character.
characters and letting those characters live on through a new generation. It's like, I would say that's the difference between the New 52 and Justice League Unlimited.
Absolutely.
Like, Justice League Unlimited understands what made those characters cool.
Yes.
It's telling modern versions of stories that existed in the Silver Age and the Bronze Age, but it's making them accessible to the next generation.
Absolutely.
As opposed to being like, everything that you loved, we don't need that.
Well, and
because Justice League, Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited were like this. They just understood what the DC universe was all about and just like what superheroes meant.
Yeah. I recently wrote, my most recent blog post was about this and about how the Chris Nolan movies were bad Batman movies.
Right.
And about how people misunderstand Batman because of that, because Nolan leaves out the core concept of Batman, right? It's not, and people, like this, it got posted to Reddit, and of course Reddit, especially like the comic book subreddit on Reddit is full of people that would not be fans of our show. Let me just put it that way.
They love us.
I don't want to impugn them too much, but I think the thing is to me, it's like this. I could say, hey, I want to tell a Superman story. Oh, okay. Well, tell me what your Superman story is about. Well, I want him to be a mechanic in Detroit. Okay. Well, does he fly? And is he like, no. He's just a guy.
Are you telling me the story of Smallville?
It's like, well, and that's kind of the thing, right? It's like,
yeah. It's exactly my problem with Smallville.
Well, and you can't. It's the problem with the Batman movies is he takes this very core concept, this concept that's central to the being of the character, and just ignores it because he's afraid of it being too comic booky or to being too true to the source material. Yeah. And Nolan is very honest about not wanting to make a comic book movie. But the thing is,
definitely. He told DC that they shouldn't be publishing Batman while his movies were coming out.
Yeah,
which tells you a lot about how he feels about the comic books.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said they were embarrassing to Batman.
Yeah,
which at the time, like, maybe they were a little bit.
Well, but the thing is that as somebody who came from outside, who's never read a Batman comic book before then, and wanted to tell...
Well, he read Batman comics going into working on the first film.
But,
and he consulted with a guy who had worked with DC... Well, we've talked about Goyer on last week's episode, but, something I didn't mention last week was Goyer and Richard Donner... Or, no, not Richard Donner. James Robinson were the first team on the JSA book that relaunched that would eventually become Goyer and Jeff Johns, and then would eventually become Jeff Johns.
Right.
Like, Goyer was writing comic books, and that's who Nolan went to.
Right.
Because Nolan, knew that he needed someone in the comic books.
And that's why...
And so that's why I think Batman Begins works a lot better, is because absolutely. Goyer was, I feel like a lot more involved in shaping that character.
And I think that that's kind of the fatal misstep of the characters. When you watch Batman Begins, that whole opening gives no... It's like, oh, he was a spoiled rich kid in Gotham, then he decided to get his shit together and go and travel the world and learn how to fight. But fighting is not what Batman is about. It's a part of it.
No, he also yells
Right, and yelling at his problems. I actually put a lot. If
them?
you haven't read it, you should read it.
I haven't read it yet.
I know. I wanted him to get him to say that on air, but
yeah, I don't read. I don't read what you write, Joe.
There's no mention of any of the things that make Batman, like the fucking world's greatest detective.
Yeah,
which was the byline of his goddamn book.
Yeah,
right. And like, yes, is there room for other interpretations of Batman? Absolutely, but when you ignore the core concept of a character, you are no longer talking about that character. Yeah. So Chris Nolan made two movies that were decent, and one that was just crappy because it's a bad movie.
Well,
but
I mean, that also...
about a guy dressed up as a bat that called himself Batman that has absolutely nothing to do with Batman.
Well, it also betrays a lot of the ideas about... The third movie betrays a lot of the ideas about Batman, which is why I have a really hard time with it, is because... You have that weird scene with Alfred where he's like, I have a dream, Mr. Wayne, that I'll see you in a cafe in Paris or whatever. And then it shows up at the end of the film and you're like, that's not how the Batman story ends.
No, absolutely not.
Like, I know you were trying to put a tidy bow on your cinematic masterpiece, quote unquote, but it's like...
it's overly exposited. There's way too much fucking exposition in it.
And time travel and teleporting around the world.
The plot holes... I never liked Michael Caine as Alfred. You can fucking hate me if you want to. That's fine. I just don't see him as being Alfred. He's way too fucking vocal in those movies. I mean, it's a mischaracterization of Alfred. And I understand that, like, you want to go for this field, but I hate to break it to you, but superheroes don't work in the real world, and they're never going to, no matter how much. This is for you, Warner Brothers. No matter how much you try to shoehorn it, superheroes do not work in the real world.
Well, especially not ones like Superman and The Flash and Green Lantern.
Well, and that's on a physical basis, but like even Batman does. He just becomes a caricature. It's like you can't. It's like Kratos, right? You can't take him seriously. Like I listen to him growling and screaming, and I'm like, that's ridiculous to me. I can't take that seriously.
It takes away the elements that make him really interesting, and then he just quits at the end of the movie,
exactly,
making the movies completely meaningless.
But to bring this whole full circle, the thing that made the Muppet movies good, and the thing that you have to do to make the Peanuts movie fucking great, just pay attention to the core concept of the character. That's it, right?
And then there was the quote that they gave to the USA Today that was like, the characters will have their characterization. Snoopy won't be rapping,
no rapping,
no
Snoopy,
one's twerking.
And no twerking. And
the characters will keep their characterization intact, which is
Americana,
the best
right?
quote that you could say, essentially, to me. And also, something that I found really interesting about the animation style was... It looked like a
3D drawing.
Yeah, they were 3D models, but from the direction that they were shot at, it looked like the old cartoon.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was only shown from essentially a 2D plane.
Yeah,
so
it's a 3D rendering of those old drawings, and they didn't update the art style or anything, which would have been a ruinous decision.
And I think that the artistic choices that they made were really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see it in motion. I don't know if it's going to be really different, if it's going to be, from more angles than just that two-dimensional angle.
Yeah.
But even if you just leave it on, like it's a comic strip, like that side-on look that the comic strip used to have, like I still think you could tell an interesting and awesome story like that.
I think you can, and I think the thing is, you don't want to fuck with Charlie Brown, right?
No.
There's not a lot of things, like... Charlie Brown it's a piece of Americana that really, if you make a bad Charlie Brown movie, people are going to fucking they're never going to forgive you.
And it's a thing like Alvin and the Chipmunks and Garfield, like
who fucking cares?
Like they don't seem to be as important to the American pop culture as Charlie Brown.
I think, while they definitely hold a place in like the memory of the public.
Yeah.
Peanuts exists on a whole other level, man.
Oh, absolutely.
There is not a person alive that can't relate to Charlie Brown in some way because that's what he does,
Yeah.
He's good old Charlie Brown, and I know that I felt like him many times in my life. And I really think that if you're being honest with yourself, you can relate to him. You can. Everybody gets shit on.
Yeah.
Everybody walks around feeling like they're unappreciated and that everything sucks.
Yeah.
And he's got a good group of people around him that kind of got his back for the most part. And I just think that if you pay attention to that, they'll tell a good movie. I think they'll tell a good story.
I hope that I hope it goes well, and I hope that they realize that, like, by paying close attention to the characters, like, good things happen, and then they make a great film out of this. But it also leads me to hope for an adaptation of my absolute favorite comic strip of all time.
Pirates of Dark... What? No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's not a comic strip.
I know. I'm just saying the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah.
It's clearly Steve Canyon.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, God. I don't think so. Bill Watterson is really kind of not... From everything I've read about him in the interviews, he's really just not interested in doing anything like that.
Yeah.
But that would... I think that would fulfill... I could never see another movie again if I got a Calvin and Hobbes movie, because I think Calvin and Hobbes is one of the only comic strips, like syndicated comic strips, that comes close to approaching the kind of public adoration that Peanuts has.
Oh yeah, it's my absolute favorite. Like, I love Peanuts, but like, I will never attach myself, like, I'll never be as much Charlie Brown as I was Calvin.
Yeah,
that, like, I just spent my entire, like, all my time daydreaming and hating that everyone expected me to do more than that. And just Calvin is just like he's a fantastic character.
He is.
The universes that he dreams up are awesome.
Yeah.
And
he's this excellent way to kind of explore the foibles of being an adult, and being a person.
Just his, just how, like, outside of modern narrative storytelling that is, because you have all this stuff that is happening essentially inside of Calvin's head.
Yeah.
And that how much of it is real and how much of it isn't real.
Absolutely.
Like, I love that. And it's not in a way that's like, oh, it's Inception trippy. It's just it's just like a cool way to tell a story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's honest. And I definitely had a moment a few years ago. It was one of the first, it was called, it was an Evo 4G. It was it was a big Android phone, and it was like, had a 4.3 inch screen, and it was like awesome, and I loved it. And I sent Audrey, who's on the show sometimes, my daughter, to go and get it. And she's gone for a little while. I'm like outside in the sun because, we live in Washington, so it's when the sun's out, we're usually outside to get the sun. But I sent her in to get my phone, and she's taken a while. And when she finally comes out, she has this very sheepish look on her face. And she hands me my phone, and she had dropped it and like just cracked the screen all to hell. And
she's gonna kill you for telling the story.
No, I took the phone and I looked at it and I was like, oh, fuck, man, this really sucks. This is gonna cost me money to fix. And I thought of this the Calvin and Hobbes strip where he takes his dad's binoculars and his dad's like, don't break them, and he breaks them. And when he admits to it, and he goes, his dad's like, Calvin, I told you to be careful with it or whatever. And Calvin goes, can we just pretend that I already feel really horrible about it and just go from there or something? And at the end, his dad's kind of like just gives him a hug, and he's like, it's okay, And then he buys him his own pair.
Right.
And that's what I thought about. And I did not, I was like, you know what? It's just a phone.
Yeah.
It's just a phone. So.
Well, yeah. And it's like, she already felt bad enough for
Yeah, exactly.
She knew she had made a mistake.
Yeah.
And, it was she didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it's like those moments that you learn not only from what Calvin does, but just like from how his dad and his mom react to what he does. It's like
absolutely.
They're great moments in, kid and parent interactions.
Yeah.
His dad is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, he's
ever.
Great. And their relationship is
like
a good one.
How much he just fucks with Calvin.
Yeah.
Will forever be like why I think it's so funny to tell people that I'm from different states than what I'm from all the time. Just because I think it's funny. It's totally Calvin's dad being like, oh, well, the tiny man that opens our garage door lives inside the attic. And it's like, what? Why would you tell a kid that?
Yeah.
But it's great, so hopefully Peanuts is good.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully somewhere down the line we get an awesome Calvin and Hobbes
That would be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be amazing.
If you had asked me if I wanted one after Garfield and Alvin and the Chipmunks came out, I would have said no.
Oh, God, no.
But I think that we're kind of coming around as far as, like, filmmaking. I think there are studios
the right people
willing...
are in the right places, I think.
Yeah, I think there are film studios willing to take chances on people that, like, have a real love for what they're making films
Absolutely.
about.
Of course, we could get the Smurfs all over again, and that's an awful thought.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the Smurfs.
Yeah, I don't ever think of the Smurfs. I hated the fucking Smurfs when it was on.
There was also, it was a terrible show.
It was a terrible show, and they were racist.
They were just weird.
With absolutely no segue at all, I found something really interesting talking about the right people in the right places. So, as anybody that likes, like we kind of are media junkies, so we're always keeping up to date, and it's pretty well known now that Netflix is planning on making 4 Marvel TV shows that will lead up to a Heroes for Hire movie. Mm-hmm. And they're going to do Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember who
but, so, right, it'll be Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. And they're starting shooting on the first one, which I think is going to be Daredevil in June. But there's a petition going on right now to get an Asian American actor to play Danny Rand, who's Iron Fist.
Right.
And so
the Iron Fist, although he's a martial arts character, has never been portrayed in the comics as Asian.
He's like the Aryan idea.
Yeah,
he's like blonde hair, blue-eyed. Yeah. And I mean, like that. So this, and I was thinking about this, right? Like, I think the important thing and one of the most interesting things about Iron Fist is that he is a character of 2 worlds. His father was an explorer looking for Kunlun, and his father never found it, but Danny finds it, and he gets blessed with this power, and it's kind of like he's trying to run his father's business, but then he also has this kind of, especially since the Fraction Brubaker run, where they really established the Iron Fist as having these very strong ties, not just to martial arts, but like the legacy of Kunlun and the being the hero of Kunlun. I think that's kind of been explored a little bit, and I like that. I like that idea. Having said that, I have always believed that the role for a character should go to the actor that does it the best. I don't give a fuck. You have people losing their shit. And I always found this hilarious, right? Idris Elba is cast as Heimdall,
which he was awesome at.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, this is Idris fucking Elba. I could watch the man literally be in anything. He could read from a cookbook, and it would be amazing.
And similarly, like, he is rumored to be the next James Bond.
That would be awesome.
And I
would watch the shit out of that.
50% behind that. Like, Barbara Broccoli's already had like some talks with him about it.
I hope that it goes through amazing.
Because I think that I'm always for like a more diverse representation of people of color in films and in media and especially with adaptations of comic books, because a lot of these comic book characters were created in an era where representation was really poor.
Absolutely.
Like, it was just everyone was a white man.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not very interesting. And I would love to see more. And I think that it's hard for me to get as excited about this petition because there's no name attached. Yeah,
to it. They have nobody.
Not like, oh, we want an Asian guy. Like, we want Tony Jaa to play Iron Fist or something. Something I could be like very excited about.
Right,
or,
which would give you like the best martial arts on the planet, but it probably wouldn't be the most compelling performance.
Well, and that's like you can, if you had someone attached to it that there was a person that I was excited to see in the film, like it would be a lot different. Like when it was Donald Glover for Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, I was pumped for that.
That's a great idea.
He would have been fantastic in that role.
Yeah.
And, like, I wish he could have been there. And so there's always my hope that in the future I'll be able to travel to an alternate universe where he was that, and then I can watch the movie. But, when someone is attached to the role and they're going to do a great job, like, I don't care that they're going to replace white characters with, a more diverse cast. Like, I think that's great. And I think that the role should go to the best actor, not the actor that looks the most like the character. There's been plenty of times where we've seen characters who look nothing like the character. And these actors come in and they do a great job playing a character.
Seriously, and I will go on record for this. The argument of a black guy can't be Johnny Storm because Johnny Storm is white, or he's Sue Storm's brother, or whatever, is fucking retarded.
It's ridiculous.
It's stupid. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to use that word anymore. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's actually one step above ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because the thing is this. I don't hear any of these people complaining that Amanda Waller now looks like Tyra Banks. Right? How is that not?
Or that Samuel L. Jackson has replaced like a 60-year-old white Nick Fury. Like, or no one cares because he's awesome.
And this was the thing that really, really upset me about the Heimdall thing. Nobody was complaining that Volstagg was being played by some big burly dude and not a big fat dude, because Volstagg is fucking enormous.
Yeah.
Right? But where were the people complaining about that? Oh, you can't cast that guy. He's not big and fat.
Right.
It's like, you can't have it both ways. If you're going to say these characters have to be cast exactly the way in the comic book, then you can't say this character's all right because they can't have a fat guy playing him because of whatever your bullshit reasoning is.
Yeah, exactly.
And say, well, you can't have a black guy because that's called racism.
Well, it's also just ridiculous because I would like to see the best actor in that role. It's why when people are like, oh, they shouldn't get Chris Hemsworth to play Thor, they should get like a WWE wrestler, and it's like, I don't care how buff he is.
Yeah,
like,
who
I don't
fucking
care.
cares?
It's not about that. It's
about who's gonna sell me on that idea.
Ralph Fiennes in Red Dragon, when they describe Francis Dollarhide in the book, he's like 6'5", like 300 pounds. Like, the dude's like built, like he's huge, like he's a weightlifter.
Yeah.
And the fact that it doesn't matter, Ralph Fiennes comes in and does a great performance of Francis Dollarhide in the Red Dragon. It's great. It's like, they don't have to look the same. They don't even have to like have the same physical body. Like, it doesn't matter. It's about acting.
Yeah,
these are films, right?
Exactly.
So I would be more excited about the petition if there was
a name attached
to it. Otherwise, I mean, like, I think it's great. I think we should definitely argue for better representation
Absolutely.
and more diversity in film, because it makes things more interesting.
Yeah.
And it's great. And but it's hard for me to get as excited
because
as I was about like Donald Glover for Spider-Man or any number of changes, like Idris Elba for James Bond. Like that that's very exciting to me because I love Idris Elba. And
well, I think I would like to see Danny Pudi as Iron Fist. I think that works.
Okay.
He's Indian. That's
shouldn't he play Kick Puncher instead?
Yeah, play Kick Puncher. No, I think I'd like to know what other people think. I have a feeling that
email us.
If you have a name, that's what I'm trying to think of.
If you can think of someone. Well,
because what I'd really like to see is, as fun as it is to kind of be like, oh, Chris Pine would make a great Iron Fist. Yeah, maybe he would, but. Yeah. I'd also like to see some kind of young new talent in that role. Yeah,
especially since they're made for Netflix. Like, that's a great place to like try out
Absolutely.
young actors. And something that the Marvel movies have proven to us, like with the fact that there are now 3 Bruce Banners, is like, it doesn't really matter. You can change the characters out if you have to.
And I mean, the thing is that if you are a comic book reader, then if for any length of time, for longer than 5 years, if you've been reading comics for longer than 5 years, sometimes even longer than a year, your favorite character's design has changed.
Oh, definitely.
The different artist will draw them in different ways, blah, blah, blah.
Different costumes. It's all.
I mean, the Hulk himself has been gray. He's been green. He's been gray again. He's been smart and gray. He's been smart and gray in his suit. He's been like, seriously. What I'm trying to say is the best actor should get the actor best suited to the role should get the role, regardless of race.
People who are passionate about the role, like people who want to be involved in superhero
are going to do a better job.
And I think they're going to do a great job. And I think that, any actor that comes forward and like wants to be a part of a superhero movie, it's like, oh, because they're fans or because of whatever reason. Yeah. Like, I'm interested in that. I'm interested to see that. I mean, sometimes it leads to like terrible casting. But...
Well, and that's, what I think is like Storm in the X-Men movies, I think is a great example of this.
Yeah.
I think Halle Berry is awful in those fucking roles.
Well, for the first movie, she says like 2 words.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, it's like, oh, that's fucking original. Like, you have a casting call for Storm, who's an African American, like literally an African.
She's just African.
She's just African, right? And you get Halle Berry to play her. Like, I understand the need for box office draw, but
she wasn't even a name in the first film. That's why she doesn't even talk that much.
The fact is
like unknown.
She led to,
but by the time
inadvertently led to the to 3 being such a piece of shit.
Well, by the time the third one came around, she was able to make more demands.
Yeah, to kind of swing her weight around a little bit.
Back. I think that
I just don't like Halle Berry.
She wasn't such a bad cast as much as like they utilized her really poorly in the
films. And I think that's part of it.
And the films had a lot of other problems as well.
I think all those movies have fucking problems.
Yeah, I think that I'm excited to see where those shows go.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. And
cool.
I'm a huge Daredevil fan. I'm a huge Iron Fist fan, huge Power Fist fan. And Jessica Jones, I'm a big fan of hers as well. Heroes for Hire, I think, is a group that doesn't get much love, so I love that Marvel is doing it this way.
Well, it's also a cool place to put some characters and villains that aren't gonna get the big screen love yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if at all, will we ever really see Stiltman? In a movie?
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
But we may see Daredevil fight Stiltman.
That would be awesome.
In which case, it's cool. Whatever.
But Marvel. Let's. I'd be cool if you were opening it up to looking at everybody, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sure they are.
I mean, you might have trouble casting a black guy as Iron Fist because then
then you have to cast the white guy as
Power Fist,
just so that they can have their interracial misunderstanding relationship that they have.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think that they'll do that.
No, I don't think so either.
I have faith in Marvel. They've been doing great stuff.
Marvel will do the right thing.
Speaking of not Marvel, DC, Warner Brothers, video games.
Oh, Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
This is actually, I'm a huge fan of Arkham Asylum and a pretty big fan of Arkham City. Arkham City had some problems. I have a huge problem with the way Harley Quinn is portrayed in pop culture and people just consistently missing the point of that fucking character and overly sexualizing her in every fucking thing. Because if you pay attention, she's not a fucking sexual character. I hate to burst your fucking
she does have some
bubbles.
Really good double entendre lines, and she's.
But I think the reason those work is because she's her relationship with the Joker is one of a high school girl with a crush on her teacher. They just happen to be psychopaths.
Yeah.
And she's very childlike in her devotion to him, and it's not a fucking sexual thing at all. And I hate the fact that everybody's putting her in fucking naughty nurse outfits and, having her tits pop out and all. I hate that. But the first trailer for Arkham Knight came out because Arkham Origin came out and I was like, this looks fucking boring. It's more of the same thing. Quick time events, I'm not buying it. It just didn't look very interesting to me. Then I saw the trailer for Arkham Knight, and there's 2 things I'm super interested in. The Batmobile looks super cool, and for the first time you'll have access to all of Gotham, which is something I really wanted. So I'm kind of stoked for it. Now I think they're releasing it only for the next-gen platforms, at least at launch, and I have no plans to buy either one of them anytime soon. So I probably won't be playing it anytime soon, but I'm stoked for it. I think it'll be cool. I like those games. I like them because I feel like they do. For me personally, I love Batman. I think they do a good job of melding the elements that are Batman. Chard doesn't agree with me on this, but
yeah, I couldn't be bothered to play these games. I played the first one and I did not enjoy it at all. My problem with the game being Batman is awesome.
Yes.
And when I play the game as Batman, I'm not awesome. Because the game has rules in which I'm not Batman.
And that's...
Meaning I can't just drop into a group of 5 guys and just immediately kick their ass. I'm in a combo loop for 48 minutes trying to punch a guy. And this guy is an insane thug. He's I just broke out of Arkham Asylum because I'm crazy and I'm going to fight Batman for 48 minutes. You are fighting these guys that have no martial arts training. And you're the goddamn Batman. And you're well, I guess hopefully I hit X 14 more times, and then I get the combo loop that if I press A and then X and then B 4 more times, and then I push over, and then I flip over that guy, and then I push it. No, just let me drop behind a guy and break his fucking arm and move on.
You can do that.
No, you can't. And that's the problem with that game is it's everything is really well lit. Every other stealth game I've played has a better control of lighting and the way in which you move around in the environment.
Well, but it's not... I mean, at the risk of having an argument on air with you, it's not about lighting. It's about above, and it's the 2 levels of the game.
Kill yourself.
Not even if you asked me nicely.
You can, in so many other games, the idea is like, oh, knock the lights out. In no point in the game is Batman ever like, breaking all of the lights in a room so that he can sneak up on guys.
That's absolutely
and it's like,
true.
Did he not think of that? Truly the world's greatest detective. Like, you've got detective X-ray vision. You can see inside. You can see people's bones. I spent half the game fighting skeletons. The game was ridiculous. Also, I don't want to be fucking Batman in a video game. I don't want to be Batman. I want to be cooler than Batman. I want to be a guy that I made up that is more awesome.
Which is fair.
Like,
which is fair.
You know.
Mean, I cannot argue with that.
That is the big difference between me and a lot of people when playing the game. Is like, I couldn't give two shits about being Batman.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I played Batman. It was on the NES. It was pretty good.
I mean, I guess.
It was pretty good.
I guess.
It also does not feel like a Batman game at all.
Batman for the NES is where I came up with the word boomerdang, because I would get really excited when I watched my friends and my brother play, and I would just shout things.
Yeah.
So, like, there was an alternate weapon called the dirk in that game. It was one of the throwing weapons, and my friend Matt was playing, and I'm like getting really into it. I'm like, use your dink. And then I was like, no, it's dirk. Like, use your dirk, not your dink. And I realized I was basically telling him to like hump the screen. I don't even know what I was saying. But me and my brother were playing one day, and I was like, you should use the boomer day. And so that became a thing.
Yeah.
I think it's still a thing.
Okay.
The boomer dang.
I'll take your word for it. Any other thoughts on Batman?
No, I mean, no? I'm stoked. I'm stoked to check
Sweet.
it out. So I want to swing around Gotham, and like, I'm going to go find a gargoyle and like
just hang out.
I'm just going to enact like a typical night. The nights in Gotham that you don't read about in the comic book or see, I'm just going to sit on a gargoyle somewhere and just like have a quiet night in Gotham where nothing happens.
Xanatos.
Just be like,
no, the one thing that I did
is
enjoy.
That a mugging? No. Okay.
Yeah,
maybe I'll go get a donut later.
I'll stay up here.
Maybe some coffee.
I'm
some
really
bad
thirsty.
Coffee.
I'm tired. I need caffeine. Alfred.
It's just a little bit. I haven't been sleeping well.
Alfred.
It's my sciatica.
Did you fill up the bat thermos?
Did you get those cake donuts I like, Alfred? You know, I like when you pipe little bats on the outside.
The crumbs on top.
Yeah. Delicious.
Represents the darkness inside me. The one thing I did enjoy about Batman Arkham Asylum, that was the first one, right?
Yeah,
was I would just crawl around in the ventilation ducts, like crouching down, and I would flip my cape around behind me and be like, I am the knight. So that's all I would do.
What my girlfriend Kirby, my super girlfriend, likes
Your super girlfriend.
I hate the word fiance, so we use super girlfriend and super boyfriend, but she'll do this.
That's not much better.
It's not. So
why don't you just call her future wife?
I call her my lady friend most of the time. I'm like,
that's how I refer to prostitutes.
Well, you know. So she likes to do this thing where, especially when we were first dating and first living together, I had to get up early because I was in school, and she didn't work till like 10 or 11, so she would stay up later than me. We'd go to bed together.
Turned.
Exactly, right? So she would wait until I was falling asleep, and I was just at that moment where I was about to fall asleep, and she'd just go, Joey, until I respond. I'm like, what do you want? So we're in bed one night, and I'm just about to fall asleep, and she starts repeating my name, and I'm like, what, babe? She goes, Batman is kind of like Gordon Freeman. And I'm like, what the fuck are you? First of all, why did you wake me up to tell me that? And second of all, what the fuck are you talking about? And she goes, they both crawl around in air ducts a lot. And I'm serious, because she'd been watching me play Half-Life 2. And it's like, is it true? Yes. Did she need to fucking wake me up to tell me that?
Yes.
Apparently so.
Yeah, it is true. She did.
So now, that's just the thing she'll turn to me and say. And I think, God, why am I marrying this woman?
Well, she also had a great what would Gordon Freeman do bumper sticker on her car.
That's true. And now she's got Dog as my co-pilot, which is pretty great.
One other story that I wanted to talk about, getting back on sort of on topic, is something near and dear and true to my heart. Kickstarter.
Kickstarter,
my one and only love. I love Kickstarter to death. Like, I think it's the greatest thing to ever happen to a lot of different mediums because
to everything.
It's crowdfunding. You know, it's just at its absolute purest is like, oh, do you think that book's going to be cool? Well, I'll take a chance on that because I know those creators are awesome. And so I've backed a couple books on Kickstarter, some movies, video games. And something that's really cool is Dark Horse announced that they're going to be now publishing books that have been funded on Kickstarter. And what that means is that once a book is funded, everybody that funded it gets their reward, their Kickstarter rewards that they pledged for. So like, oh, they get a hardcover edition of the book if they pledge a certain amount, and it's a special Kickstarter exclusive. And then when Dark Horse publishes it later, it will be a non-exclusive version. So you're still getting a lot of incentive to back books on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reasons that I do it is because like, oh, I'll eventually get the product, but it's also something that I just want to exist. So
right,
like, I'll definitely back it because of that. So I don't think it's taking away from Kickstarter at all. In fact, I think it's great because sometimes I'll miss a Kickstarter.
Absolutely.
Like I own Sullivan Sluggers, which I recommended on the show before, but if you didn't back it on Kickstarter, you know, almost 2 years later, you still can't get that book.
Yeah.
And that's a tragedy because that should be available in stores. There's a Marcus Toe illustrated Brian Q. Miller book that I missed on Kickstarter, and I desperately want that book, and I can't find it anywhere except way marked up on eBay by guys who are selling their Kickstarter incentive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, I just want that book to exist somewhere. And I was like hoping that I could, you know, buy the digital download from Brian Q. Miller and Marcus Toe on their website or something. So, you know, but that doesn't happen. But the nice thing about Dark Horse is they're going to go ahead and start publishing some of the books that were funded on Kickstarter, which means that they're available for people. So the first two that they've announced, the first one is The Guns of Shadow, which is a Dave Wachter book illustrated by James Andrew Clark. And, well, it's those two. I don't know which one illustrated and what. I just wrote James Andrew Clark second. And that releases on August 13th. And the other one is Leaving Megalopolis, which is Gail Simone and Jim Calafiore. I'm sure I butchered that name. But that's the team that did The Secret Six, the book in DC that we all really enjoyed. And that comes out September 10th. And another side effect of this is Boom Studios also expressed interest in doing this as well. So hopefully more publishers will catch on that, like, there are these great Kickstarter books that exist out there. They're already written, they're already illustrated, they already are done. And,
well, and it gives them a great it gives them a great insight into if there's an audience too.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So like, I hope that more publishing companies use Kickstarter as like the model, because which is cool about those is because those are graphic novels that are coming out as graphic novels first and foremost. There are no single issues for Sullivan Sluggers, which I think is great because the market isn't to the point yet where it can support only straight to graphic novel releases. But most of us are reading books almost exclusively in graphic novel form first. Like, we prefer to read it that way. So, you know, they use the single issues to pay for the publishing of the graphic novel. Well, if Kickstarter has already funded the people that made the book, so like they've gotten their money for creating this product.
Yeah.
Now this additional money is just, you know, profit for them or more money for them, which is great. And the studios can help them get that into more people's hands. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah,
I love
think it's
Kickstarter,
great.
And I want the industry to grow and change and do different stuff. So I'm all for stuff like this. And anytime we get away from single issues and the collector mentality,
I think
I am happier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and Dark Horse does a great job publishing books.
Yeah.
So,
Boom's crushing it too.
Boom's
absolutely. Doing Adventure Time and a bunch of other stuff, right?
Yeah, I love Boom Studios. So, they're great. And these two, the first two announced, Leaving Megalopolis and The Guns of Shadow, are going to be trade paperbacks, as opposed to the Kickstarter, which I believe were both hardcovers, or you could get a hardcover of those. So that's kind of cool too. Did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
I don't think so. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Boondocks is finally finishing. But apparently, season 4 is in production right now. But Aaron McGruder is not associated with it. He is, however, working on a show for Adult Swim called Black Jesus, which kind of fills my heart with joy because Aaron Magruder, The Boondocks started as a comic strip.
Oh,
it's a
great.
Brilliant comic strip. It's an amazing cartoon. It's won a Peabody.
Yep.
So I just thought that was interesting, and so it kind of left me a little bewildered as to what's going on there.
We'll see. Hopefully, enough of the creative staff that worked on that show is in place, and that he's just more interested in working on a new project.
Well, he didn't know, apparently. That seems to be the weird thing.
Oh, really?
Well, okay, so apparently Adult Swim posted that when the air date would be, and Aaron Magruder was like, I don't have control of the Boondocks Facebook page anymore. And that's because Adult Swim or Cartoon Network went ahead and posted it. So that's what the article I have says, and that was on Comics Alliance.
Oh, wow.
So it was produced. It is actually produced. So it's a little bit...
That's a bit odd.
It'll yeah. And I don't know how I feel about it, so I'm not going to tell you when it's going to debut because I don't...
Yeah, hopefully we don't have like the whole Dan Harmon community.
Which is exactly what I thought of. But
yeah, I mean, sometimes shows can go on to do fine without the original creator, but it's not usually the case.
No, and Community is back and stronger, better than it ever was, I think. I think the fifth season is the strongest, and so I'm really glad it took that 1 year hiatus.
Yeah. Me too.
Gas leak year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I think we're good.
Yeah, I didn't think of anything else I wanted to talk about. But if you guys have topics you'd like us to discuss on the show, you should email us at contact@viewfromthegutters.com.
Yes.
Or at joe@viewfromthegutters.com or Chard at viewfromthegutters.com.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think. Let us know topics. Hopefully we'll be getting some more people on the show in the future. We just didn't tell anybody we were recording this week.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I mean, I think we kind of conceived of this as a rotating cast and kind of talk about
actually, before we wrap up, next week's episode will be our Emerald City episode.
That's absolutely
because
true.
Next week is Emerald City Comic Con. So,
and you know what? Today is Hellboy Day. I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
20 years. The 20-year anniversary of Hellboy.
Yeah.
So that's fucking awesome.
And there's some awesome Hellboy stuff still coming out. If you're not reading the new Lobster Johnson series, I highly recommend it.
And I think Mignola will be at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I believe he will be at Emerald City. So, is there anybody you're particularly excited about at Emerald City, Joe?
There's a couple people. Jeff Smith is going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And Stan Sakai is going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm really stoked about meeting those two.
Are you going to stand in line to meet the media guests?
No, I am not, because I have nothing to... I was thinking maybe I'll stand in line to meet Amy Pond, just because I think Karen Gillan is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. Uh-huh. But I always imagine myself standing there.
Yeah.
Going, I really liked you in this.
Have you seen the trailer for her new horror movie?
No, I haven't. But she's going to be. See that. She is going to be what's her face, Nebula.
Yeah.
In Guardians of the Galaxy, and she looks great there.
No, her Oculus looks terrifying.
Yeah, I will not be watching that because
I'm
I
excited
don't like
for
movies.
that. Mike Allred's going to be there. You were talking about getting some stuff signed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Allred is incredible. I just think he's. I've met him before. He's an incredibly nice man.
Yeah.
I really got the feeling that had there not been people behind me, he would have talked to me for. We could have talked for a couple hours.
That's awesome.
About his stuff. And his Silver Surfer book is one of the things I'm most excited for, because to me, that's a match made.
Oh, yeah. Sal Abernathy's going to be there again, too. He's always there. That's an interesting dude. If you don't know who that is, go look it up. Sal Abernathy.
Okay.
Uncle
Sal. There's going to be some interesting stuff there. I'm kind of stoked to meet the guys that do Skull Kickers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Then Mark Bagley's going to be there as usual.
A bunch of Mark. I think Mark Wade's going to be there. A bunch of
Chris Burnham,
Dave Thompson. What is his name? The Mouse Guard will be there as well. So yeah, I mean a bunch
James
of
Callahan, who did the tour, I believe, is going to be there too.
Is Brandon Graham and Simon Roy going to be there? I think they are.
Hang on, I closed the window. I'm pretty sure they are.
Well, yeah. So there's a bunch of people I'm stoked to see.
Local favorites will be there as well. Yep. Eric Troutman, Brandon Jerwa, Greg Rucka, Matt Fraction is still from Portland, right? Is he still living in Portland?
Actually, we're trying to get
Rick Remender.
Yeah. Is Remender going to be there?
Remender's from Portland. I imagine he'll be there. Yeah, those are... Or he was in Portland for a while. Who knows where these people move
I don't even know. Derek Robertson will be there. I like to stop by and see him every year.
Yeah, he's awesome. I told the story of meeting him on the show before, so I won't go into it again.
Oh, yeah, no, he's great.
He was great. Jay Farber, he's from Seattle. That's another local guy. Matt Fraction will be there.
Yeah, Kelly Sue DeConnick's going to be there, too.
Jenny Frizen, Chicago, but also great. God, there's a lot of people. Yeah, Brandon Graham's going to be there. Table XO5.
Excellent.
That just seemed like a cool table number.
XO5.
It sounds like a planet from a science fiction movie. Like,
reminds me of the old Valiant book, Exo Manowar.
Planet XO5. Anthony Johnson, who did Wasteland, who's doing Fuse and the Umbral right now. He's going to be there. Jock is going to be there.
Right.
Lots of good people. Oh, Matt Kent, who does the was that MGMT? The book.
Yeah. So there'll be
Eric Larson.
Yeah, I forgot Eric Larson's going to be there.
He's always there, and he's always cool.
Yeah.
Jim Lee will be there Friday only.
Jim Lee?
Yeah, Jim Lee, Friday only. For like 4 seconds, he'll be there in the signing area.
Oh, God.
And then a 4 hour
I didn't realize. I didn't see that he had been announced. Who even cares? There was a time in my life when you told me Jim Lee was going to be at Emerald City Comic Con. I would have been like, holy shit. Now I'm like, I have got nothing to say to the man.
Ed McGuinness is going to be there. B. Clay Moore. God, I love B. Clay Moore. Yeah. Lots of good people. I'm just going down.
Now you're no. We're going to go through Ryan and beep out all those names.
Michael A.
So you just be like, oh, yeah, I love his stuff. He's great.
Jimmy
he works
Palmiotti.
It's going to be amazing. I don't think we need the whole list.
Yeah,
though.
David Peterson. That's what I was looking for.
Peterson,
yeah, he is going to be there. And Wendy and Richard Penny are also going to be there.
Well, we're going to stop by their booth and give them much thanks
Derek Robertson.
Sending us so much traffic and being so cool.
Yeah, lots of good people are going to be in Emerald City. Anybody else you're particularly excited for?
No, I mean, I love going for the experience. I'm just super stoked.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Oh, Richard Sarking's going to be there again.
Well, he's there every year.
Yeah.
Another tremendously nice man.
Oh, also one of the most interesting men in comics.
Oh, yeah. No, he's super cool.
Matthew Southworth is going to be there. So you need to take
I need to pick up.
Stumptown.
I already have it signed by them. I need to get the second one signed.
Oh, right.
But last year, him and Rucko were right across from each other. So I was like, can you sign this? Can you sign this?
Nice.
Greg Rucka, another incredibly nice man.
Oh, awesome.
Just awesome.
Marcus Toe's going to be there. I'm excited. I'll probably get some books signed there. Yeah, the Rat Queen creators are going to be there.
Yeah, I'm stoked about
Up
that.
Church.
That's a great name.
That is a great name. I wonder if that's a pen name.
Yeah.
G. Willow Wilson's going to be there. I'm going to get my Miss Marvel #1 signed.
Yeah, which is really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be exciting, man. I'm super excited to go.
Yeah, Remender canceled.
Right.
So, he's not going to be there.
So, no Rick Remender, but Jim Lee, which is stupid.
Yeah, that's not a good trade.
I know. I'm kind of.
Oh, Adam Warren.
Oh yeah,
Adam Warren,
who's a podcast favorite.
Yeah,
and we're gonna
go get all your volumes of Empowered signed.
Yeah,
so.
well, I think Kirby got hers signed last year,
but Volume 8 came out this year.
That's true.
You gotta get Volume 8 signed. All right.
I just like to go and shake his hand because he works.
He's great. Yeah, we love him. And so definitely, we will be bringing you some hot action from Emerald City. I don't know when we're gonna. We have not figured out when or what we're gonna record yet.
No,
but it will be
yet.
a back matter episode that comes out sometime early next week. after the con. And we'll catch you guys then. Send us some emails. We will not get you anything from the con.
No, yeah,
I'm saying that now. I'm not getting you anything.
I mean,
maybe a $8 overpriced Gatorade from the convention, but
maybe the label from said Gatorade.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye.